Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live edition of Fire Your MD Now. And I'm as serious as a heart attack when I say it. I'm going to keep saying it until, I'll still be saying it 25 years after this body is dead, God willing, and the creek don't rise. Because everybody needs to understand this simple notion. Your medical doctor is the wrong person to bring your body to if you are dealing with a chronic health condition. Your medical doctor is the wrong person to bring your body to if you are wanting information about how to make yourself healthy and to remain healthy. And your medical doctor is the right person to bring your body to if you have some type of trauma to your body. A knife wound, a bullet wound, a landmine wound, you're T-boned at an intersection, heaven forbid, you have a 4th-degree burn, heaven forbid, break a leg skiing, whatever. The wheelhouse of the MD is trauma care, surgery when it's absolutely necessary, and a handful of infectious diseases. For everything else, they are the wrong dog for the hunt, but because they monopolize the medical marketplace, the only type of medicine that anybody knows anything about is MD-directed medicine, and the pharmaceutical industry has done a really good job of convincing everybody that the MD is the king of the hill and everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack with substandard training and dangerous therapeutics, and this, of course, is nonsense. While we've been following the advice and given ourselves unto the tutelage of the MD, our health has gone to hell in a handbasket. The United States is the 52nd longest-lived nation in the world. And, we're lucky if we make it into our early 80s here, even though we have the genetic potential to live to be 120, if not longer. All of this begs the question, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you feeling? I mean, let's just be honest. I don't really care if you understand the history of medicine the way that I do. It doesn't matter if you understand the relationship between the pharmaceutical industry, the insurance industry, the hospital industry, and your MD. It doesn't matter if you even know how to spell vitamin. It does not matter. Let's break it down to, facts, common sense, right? How do you feel? How's the health of your family and friends? How are your kids doing? How many prescription medications are you on? And remember, we're not against prescription meds. We're against silly medicine that is ineffective, dangerous, and expensive. That's what I'm against. Thank God for morphine. Thank God for Novocaine. Thank God for the mattress stitch and the sterile technique, right? But for goodness sake, the way that MDs are trained to use drugs is not to help your body to heal itself. The MDs are trained to use drugs to suppress your symptoms. That's it. Which is a little bit of irony as far as I'm concerned, because on the one hand, the medical doctor is trained to believe that the human body can't fix itself, that you're a bumbling bag of biochemicals ready to burst. And when something does go awry, it's the doctor's job to march in and exert a hostile takeover of the metabolism of your body with a synthetic man-made drug sold to you at a profit. Oh, but don't worry, insurance will take care of it. A little ironic when they tell you this on the one hand, your body can't fix itself, and then on the other hand they say, well, just take this prednisone, and what's the prednisone going to do? Well, it's going to cut down the inflammation, and then we're going to keep our fingers crossed and see if your body bounces back. Well, if your body can bounce back, that means the body can fix itself. If the body can fix itself, why aren't there therapeutics designed to support and promote that? Because, again, they're the wrong dog for the hunt. Trusting anybody with an MD after their name to give you sound health advice is like expecting a communist to be able to tell you about voters' rights. It's probably not a good idea to talk to a communist about voters' rights because they don't know anything about voters' rights, and what they do know about voters' rights is a little bit jaded, stilted, one-sided, and quite frankly, just plain dumb. Well, so it is with your medical doctor. Yet, 50 years of television, MASH, Grey's Anatomy, Marcus Welby, MD. If you're old enough to remember Marcus Welby, MD, welcome aboard. All of the shows that they're on TV about doctors now, every single solitary thing paints the doctor in House. It's probably my least favorite television show ever made. House, my least favorite television show ever made. It completely paints the medical profession in the wrong light. There's no such thing as Dr. House. But in any event, I don't want to get too far afield from the subject matter that I'm talking about right now. The fact of the matter is, how do you feel? You don't need to know anything about anything. All you need to do is ask yourself, well, how am I doing? Do you have heartburn? Or can you sleep through the night? Let's start there. How many people do you know over the age of 30 can sleep through the night unmedicated? And by unmedicated, I mean, without cigarettes, without alcohol, without prescription medications, without over-the-counter medications. How many people do you know that can do that? It's very few people can even sleep through the night unmedicated. How about heartburn? How's your digestion? How many Tums do you have to take? How much Prilosec do you have to take? How much antacid? How many antacids do you need to pop a day? How are your knees? How are your shoulders? How are your ligaments, tendons, and joints? Are you on your third knee replacement surgery yet? It's only a matter of time. How are those hips doing? How's that titanium hip holding up? Is it good? Is it working for you? Well, look, if you are dealing with strong and persistent symptoms, even if they are mild and persistent symptoms, your body is in trouble. A symptom is generated by the body when the body is in a state of dis-ease. And your dis-ease can be mild, moderate, or really quite severe. So how are you doing? How are you feeling? How's your energy? How's your concentration? How's your sex drive? How's your sex performance? How's your digestion? How's your elimination? What type of food are you eating on a regular basis? And are you, like 33% of Americans, completely overweight, at least 100 pounds overweight? Are you? Well, listen, don't feel bad if you've answered yes to any of these, because everybody in this country is sick. Now, in this country, quite frankly, everybody in the world is sick. Everybody. And it's getting worse. Our life expectancy is getting worse. Chronic disease is getting worse. And yet the MD, because of legendary hubris and arrogance, before the fact, will tell you it's not the doctor's fault. The body is just too complex of a system, and you've got the fat gene, you've got the bad heart gene, you've got the bad knee joint gene, you've got the bad bladder gene, you've got the bad anything gene, and it's nonsense. Blaming your ills on genetics is like blaming tornadoes on sun. Well, I suppose if there wasn't any sun, there wouldn't be any tornadoes, because if there wasn't any sun, there wouldn't be any clouds, and without any clouds, there wouldn't be any tornadoes. Well, so yeah, I guess you can say that tornadoes are caused by the sun, but, it's kind of a dodge, don't you think? So it is with the pass-off of the scapegoat of genes causing your illness. My colleague, Dr. Wallach, just published a book, Epigenetics, the death of the gene theory of disease transmission. Because as it turns out, it ain't the gene. It's not the gene. It's the body's raw materials. It's the body's nutritional supply that dictates whether or not your chromosomes can actually produce the work that God intended them to. It's kind of like your chromosomes, your genetic material, your genes are printers, little tiny, eeny-weeny, microscopic printers, color printers. And the color printer needs 4 types of ink, right? It needs yellow, green, blue, and black, right? Something like that. Yellow, green, red, and black. I think that's it. Yellow, green, red, and black. Or yellow, blue, red, and black. You get the picture. Pun intended. If you're out of one of the colors of ink, if you're out of 2 of the colors of ink, if you're out of 3 of the colors of ink, the printer is still going to be able to print a picture, but it's not going to be right. Well, when your body runs out of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and essential fatty acids, your chromosomes, your genetic material, cannot get the job done. And it's not because you have a bad gene. It's because your body has run out of the raw materials that it needs in order to work. In this case, in order to make a liver cell, make an eye cell, make a heart cell, make a kidney cell, make a skin cell, make a bladder cell, whatever. It's nutrition. Stupid. That's what it is. It's nutrition. It all boils down to nutrition, or lack thereof. And the single biggest mistake that we make is following medical professionals' nutritional advice, medical professional who has had no training, no respect, no appreciation, and quite frankly, very little use for medical nutrition. Your MD. You wouldn't go to a chiropractor for open heart surgery, would you? You wouldn't go to a chiropractor to stitch a wound closed because that's not their thing. That's not their wheelhouse. Well, chronic disease is not the wheelhouse of your MD, and their understanding of the neopathogenesis of disease and the treatment of such is juvenile, outdated, old-fashioned, expensive, and dangerous. The easiest place to hide something in plain sight, and the most expensive medicine, is the one that does not work. MD-directed medical treatments for chronic disease are a fool's errand, and you should run as quickly as is humanly possible away from anybody in a white coat if you're dealing with a chronic disease. Now, ironically, the alternative to what the MDs do, the actual reality of the situation, is that God exists. If you're an atheist, I can't help you. Your body is endowed. Your body is imbued with a spiritual essence. Whatever it is that brings light to your eyes, whatever it is that leaves the body at the time of death, that essence, spiritual essence, spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it, is imbued with divine intelligence. Your body has intelligence. That's how everything happens on an automatic scale. Without your conscious control. Your body knows how to fix itself. Your body wants to fix itself. We have the easiest job in the world. Don't be fooled by Big Pharma. Healing is easy. Give your body what it needs. Get out of the way. And let the healing begin. I'm Dr. Glidden. Stick around. 90 essential nutrients that the human body needs in order to fix itself. 90, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids. It is impossible. Impossible. It is impossible with a capital I, possible, to get all of your body's nutrient needs from food. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. You can't fly without an airplane or device, right? Can you fly like Superman? No, you can't do that. You can't get the 90 essential nutrients. Can you swim underwater like a fish and, breathe water? No, you can't do that either, can you? Well, guess what? You can't get the 90 essential nutrients from food. Can you run as fast as a gazelle, though? Can't do that? Well, guess what? Neither can you get all 90 essential nutrients from food. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's impossible. But because nobody taught you this in school, because you don't have any earthly idea of what's really going on with your body and its nutrient needs, because most people can't even define what a vitamin is, because most people have no idea what an essential nutrient is, because people are clueless, because the educational system, either on purpose, by design, or just by stupidity, has left this information out of your education. You don't know. And as God is my witness, when it comes to medicine and medical nutrition, the stuff that you didn't know, the stuff that is so far outside of your reference range, you didn't even know you didn't know that, will kill you or heal you. And that's why I'm here. That's why this radio show is so important. That's why what we talk about every single solitary day is the simple notion of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Again, I have the easiest job in the world. What do? I recommend you take into your body the essential nutrients that your body needs to optimize its structure and function. Look, if you're growing a tomato plant Do you have to, like, hook electrodes up to the tomato plant? Do you have to hook those electrodes to a sophisticated computer program? And do you have to tell the tomato plant how to absorb the water and how to absorb the oxygen and secrete nitrogen and how to metabolize all the stuff in the soil? Do you have to do that? No. What do? You water the tomato plant, you give it fertilizer, you put it out in the sun, and you let nature take care of the rest. That's all that you need to do with your body. But the pharmaceutical industry has you convinced otherwise. Oh, no. You need $5,000 of diagnostic discovery. That's what you need. You need to go to a multi-million-dollar high-tech facility. You need to pay that $6,000 medical insurance deductible. That's what you need to do. It's nonsense. Look, if you need surgery, really and truly need it, then that's where you need to go. You need to find the most expensive, highfalutin, multi-million-dollar medical complex you can find. Because chances are better that you're going to get good treatment there, better treatment there for trauma and surgery, which is the wheelhouse of the MD. But if you're struggling with a chronic disease, which is what most people go to the doctor for most of the time, asthma, congestive heart failure, fibromyalgia, lack of energy, arthritis, osteoporosis, osteopenia, heartburn, psoriasis, eczema, migraine headaches, you don't need MD treatment. Quite frankly, if you engage with MD treatment, you're going to hurt yourself. You're not going to fix the problem. You're going to prolong your suffering. And you're probably going to go bankrupt. But there is another way, and this is what I talk about. So here it is, right? What do? You grow in the tomato plant. All you got to do is give it the right stuff, and nature takes care of it. Well, if you're struggling with a chronic disease, there are two operative causes that are related to all chronic diseases. Number one, your body has run out of the essential nutrients it needs to keep that part of your body healthy. Number two, you are unwittingly eating the wrong food, which is messing things up. You put diesel fuel in an unleaded engine, the car's going to run like crap, if it runs at all. You put the wrong food into your body, it's going to run like crap, if at all. And, we're in a double bind here, especially in the United States, because we've let the people who make the food tell us what food to eat. Now, is that a good idea? Yeah, well, how's that working for you? Like I said at the top of the hour, how are you feeling? How's your mood? How's your energy? How's your appetite? How's everything? You in the weeds with your health? It's not your fault. It's your doctor's fault. You took the wrong dog to the hunt. Big Pharma doesn't want you to know about me. Big Pharma doesn't want you to know about naturopathic medicine. Well, guess what? Here I am, ladies and gentlemen, advising you to fire your medical doctor now and get on board with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Back after these words. Welcome back, Longevity Nation. Welcome back, holistic health enthusiasts worldwide. We're live streaming this broadcast video. We're doing a live video stream every day. You can check out the live video stream where you will be automatically entered into a chat room. And it's all free. And right now there are 67 people from all over the world in the chat room talking about everything regarding holistic health. Check out the live stream. The drgliddenshow.tv. The drgliddenshow.tv. Phone lines are filled again. Let's talk to our old friend Terry from Virginia. Hey, Terry, you are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden, let me turn in the speaker so I can hear you. I've still got some lumps in my breast that are real sore. The situation's getting worse. And I'm wondering if I should, get some kind of test, but I'm afraid to get a biopsy. I'm afraid to get a mammogram because I've heard it's only one definitive test for cancer anyway. So all
right. So listen, how long has this problem been a problem?
Let's see, September, October, November, December.
All right, so November, December plus 7, so that's about 9 months?
Yeah.
And in the 9-month time period, has it gotten worse or has it gotten better?
Well, it got better for a while. When I first went on selenium for about 2 months, then the situation, the lumps started coming back, and then you put me on like 12 seleniums a day, and I was on that for like 2 months, and then I run into some money issues, so I went back down to 6 a day, and then back up to 9 a day.
And you're doing the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the rest of it, right?
Yeah, but you wanted me to do 3 scoops Beyond Tangy Tangerine for my blood pressure issues, but I've only been doing 2.
Okay, so notwithstanding the lumps in the breast, is there anything else? I mean, what, if anything, have you noticed improve in your life since you've been doing this program?
Well, I don't have arthritis anymore, and I don't have insomnia anymore.
Okay, and is your blood pressure the same as it always was, or are the numbers starting to move? They moved a little, and so I cut back on my dosage a little bit, like cut out 1/4 of a pill twice a day, and it's like staying about the same now. Yeah, okay. All right.
And I'm afraid to cut it back anymore.
Well, yeah, well...
Because I'm not on the full dose of Tangy Tangerine, you know. Yeah,
no, I get it. I understand. Yeah, life comes rolling in. But you've completely eliminated all 10 bad foods, right?
No. I get stuck around the first of the month. I go down here to the co-op, and I get the wraps, and they have gluten in them.
But you stayed away from oil and fried food?
Well, except for the gluten-free potato chips and except for the Alden's ice cream. I'm struggling with those 3.
Okay, well, you can make your own potato chips. You can bake potato chips, on the broiler in your oven, and it's much cheaper.
How do you make those?
Well, you get there's a little slicer. It's called a Madeleine. I think it's called a Madeleine. Is it called a Madeleine? Maybe it's not called a Madeleine. There's some device that slices potatoes really, really thin. Mandolin, maybe. So somebody in the chat room will probably know. But in any event, you just peel a potato and slice it really thin, spice it up with whatever you want, cayenne pepper, salt, pepper, whatever you want, and then just put it in the broiler. Put some butter on it, yum, yum, put it in the broiler, and you peek in there about every minute or two until it's brown and crispy on one side, and you flip it over, and brown and crispy on the other side. Life is good. I understand the thing about the cravings. And if money is always an issue, remember kind of the no-fail fudge here is the plant-derived minerals. So, and that's only $19 a month, right? So you can do the plant-derived minerals. And I'm going to tell you what to do about the breast situation here in a second. But what I would also do is, remember, I don't talk about this very much on this radio show, and, maybe I'll have a segment a week where I do talk about it. But Terry, I've got to tell you, I've met all of the multi-million-dollar earners in longevity, every single solitary one of them, and there's nothing special about any of them. They're awesome people. But, they're not rocket scientists. They don't have unbelievably high IQs. They're not really magnetic personalities. They're just normal folks. And if they can do it, you can do it. So what I would encourage you to do is lean on your upline to understand what to do to make the business successful. As God is my witness, if you do the right stuff in about 3 months, you can be easily making $300 a month, which will offset, and I take about $350 worth of nutritional supplements a month. I'm 200 pounds. So I'm telling you, kiddo, where there's a will, there's a way, and the way that longevity is set up, the intention here is for you and every other longevity member to lean on their upline to understand how to make the business work. And I would encourage you to do that. Now, you live in Virginia?
Yeah. Nobody wants to buy anything is what I keep running up on.
Well, all right. So then
I can't afford them,
Well, so get people to do.
And maybe I'll move. Maybe I'll move to another state.
Well, look,
get
people to do 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals a month. It's $19. 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals a month will change the way that people feel, and then they'll find the money. encourage them. If they tell you, oh, I don't have any money, well, ask them if they have $20 a month. If they do have $20 a month, and say, look, just try this for 1 month. Try it for 1 month. Tell me how you feel. It's only $20, for goodness sake. I can find $20 a month. I mean, no kidding. So that's what I would do if people give you the money issue, number one. But in any event, here's what I would encourage you to do, given the fact that you're in Virginia. Naturopathic medicine is not licensed in Virginia. I would do a Google search for the Institute for Functional Medicine, the Institute for Functional Medicine. All right? The Institute for Functional Medicine trains MDs in a pseudo-holistic methodology. I'm not a fan of the Institute for Functional Medicine, but this is not a perfect world, and you have a much better chance of finding a doctor who's open-minded and progressive that your insurance pays for if they've gone through the Institute for Functional Medicine training. So I would go to the Institute for Functional Medicine's website, whatever it is. I would do a search for functional medicine graduates who work in or around you. Call their office up and see what their policy is. Tell them what your situation is and tell them you need an examination. At this point in time, if it were me, I would get a biopsy because it's not getting any better. It was getting better for a while. Now, not so much. So I would get a biopsy. But that's as far as I would go. I would refuse a CT scan. I would refuse an MRI. With the
Aren't
possible,
there 2 different kind of biopsies?
There's a number of different types of biopsies, but whomever you go to, right, you need to really, and this is the problem, but because people are so good-natured, and people are just, honest, good-natured people. Most human beings are honest, good-natured people. We've been kind of culturally conditioned not to, not to question what the doctor says, and most people even take that so far as to not even have a conversation with the doctor. So I would ask the doctor, like, look, what are you going to do? What do you recommend I do? What are the side effects? What are my options? I want the least invasive thing possible here. And, what's it going to cost? And what's the deal? And if they don't answer those questions, then you got to find a doctor who would. And I would, if I were you, I would lean heavily on finding a female doctor. I would go to a female doctor who's a graduate or currently enrolled in the Institute for Functional Medicine. Because you're in Virginia. If you lived in Seattle, I'd tell you exactly who to go to, but you don't.
Well, maybe I'll move there.
Well, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I have some connections. Maybe I can build me a little home there somewhere. Find me a cheap piece of land.
Well, whatever works for you, Terry. I would handle this though, because any type of a symptom that progresses, especially in the pain department, you want to have an understanding of what it is, so that you can be more prepared for how to deal with it. Okay.
Well, what's got me kind of alarmed is I was laying in bed the other morning and I decided to check it out, and they have like this really deep indention beside my right nipple, and then it has like a cottage cheese texture to it. And I read somewhere that that's a symptom of cancer. Yeah,
well, it could be. So you need to get it checked out. You need to get it biopsied so that you know what your options are.
I also heard that there's a couple of clinics in North Carolina. So, maybe I'll call them and see if I could take my insurance.
Yeah, you got to hunt around for somebody that's, holistic friendly, who you can talk to, who can line up what your options are, and then, you can move forward prudently and responsibly, right?
Yeah, there is one of those 120 miles away, but I've heard he just stays booked. That he's just slam booked.
Call him up, see what you can do. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Okay.
Take care of it, Terry. I appreciate you.
You don't want me to just go on ahead and go on something like I've got it, huh?
Well, we don't treat cancer.
I know.
Right. We can't treat cancer. We don't treat cancer. And if it were me and I had breast cancer and I wanted to support and promote my immune system, I would do 12 selenium a day. I would do as much Z-radical as I could humanly afford. I would eat 1,200 calories a day or less. And I'd do the Healthy Start Pack appropriate for body weight. And I would be pounding down free radicals like my life depended on it. But, we have to work inside of reality. You're not Donald Trump. So you can't afford, $1,000 of nutritional supplements a month, and your medical insurance isn't going to pay for this. And that's a damn shame. So you have to do what you can do. And if it is breast cancer, and if money's an issue, then if you catch it soon enough, there are certain therapeutics that they can do which will, stop the cancer cells from moving anywhere else in the body. And that's the big problem with cancer, is that breast cancer, it'll move throughout the body. But if you catch it fast enough, the likelihood of that is reduced. It's a barbaric treatment, but it's better than death. And since medical insurance doesn't cover the holistic stuff, what the heck? I mean, we have to work inside of reality here rather than what we hope would be. That's my advice to you, Terry. Go to somebody as quickly as possible and get it diagnosed so you know what field you're playing in. In the meantime, Z-radical if you can afford it, and selenium. I would do 12 selenium a day to support and promote a healthy immune system. Let me know what happens. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Not a perfect world, is it? Well, no. But we're doing our best to make it a little bit better. And every single solitary person that gets on board with Youngevity makes it a little bit better every day. And this is how we're going to win the war, one person at a time. Stick around. Hey, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden. Check out the live stream, The Dr. Glidden Show. .tv, the drgliddenshow.tv. We've got people from Australia. We've got people from the United States. We've got people from all over Canada. We've got people from the Dominican Republic. We've got people from, who else is here? Is anybody, is Hong Kong in the house? Often Hong Kong's in the house. Often South Korea's in the house. Often the United Kingdom's in the house. Africa's in the house. For goodness sake, it is a worldwide phenomenon, growing in leaps and bounds every day. Join Youngevity Nation. Get informed. Get your health back, because as God is my witness, it is up to you. Because the conventional medical doctors have completely let us down. And that's why we're here to make a difference, not only in your life, but in the lives of as many people who are wise enough to listen to what we have to say. Wisconsin is up next. Let's go and talk to Ann. Hey, Ann. Thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hello?
Hello, Ann. How are you?
Oh, Dr. Glidden, it is so good to talk with you.
Well, that goes both ways, girl. What's going on?
Oh, my gosh, I'm so excited. First of all, I'm a 57-year-old female. I've been very healthy my whole life, an athlete. Had my first baby at 26 and was diagnosed with a thyroid nodule and a goiter, and was nursing, so they didn't do any radium thing, but they put me on Synthroid.
Yikes.
Did that for about 20 years.
Yikes.
Well, maybe not 20 years. About 40, I'd always been upset with the fact that, I was on this medication. It's like, why? Why do I have Hashimoto's? All right, so my thyroid was making antibodies.
Right.
I finally went on a search, ended up with an integrative doc who did have me go gluten-free. So I have been gluten-free now for probably about 7 years. My last two thyroid antibodies have been normal. So that's definitely, I think, made it a difference. I'm sure I had leaky gut and all that stuff. So anyway, my question, I have two questions. The one is about my thyroid, though that's the lesser question.
Well, before you say that, by the way, that's supposed to be impossible, by the way. Conventional medicine doesn't think that that's possible, doesn't think you can do that. And
I know. I had another doc, a friend of ours, a neighbor, talk to him about it, and he said, no, once you have thyroid antibodies, you'll always have them.
Yeah, he's wrong.
So,
and that's
yeah.
and this is, I'm going to give you time to talk here. Don't worry, we're not going to cut you off, and life is good. But I need to underline a few things here for the listening audience. So they'll tell you one thing is so, and they'll hang on to it, tooth and nail. And then when they have direct evidence in their face that their position is incorrect, they don't see it. They don't look at it. They don't view it. They don't take it into consideration because they're intellectual cowards. They're intellectual cowards. And this is an important thing for people to understand. Your MD is trained not to think outside of the box, not to think like a true scientist, but to toe the party line, whatever that is. As incorrect as it is, as often as it's incorrect, their job is to toe the party line. One more reason to fire your medical doctor, because even in the face of direct evidence to the contrary, they will not give up their old-fashioned, outdated, dangerous methodology. And that's a gigantic problem, especially when it comes to your health. Okay, so what's next?
So I guess my question around my thyroid is I've been on Armour now. I switched,
good
years
girl.
back, and I have been on Armour. But I just had a free T3, a free T4. That's good. My TSH is way super low. I know most people, that doesn't matter. But I guess I'm really wondering, is it possible, do you think it's possible for me to get off the Armour, period? What do I need to do to support potentially, or have I just been down this road too long, and is it going to be impossible?
Well, the longer that you have synthetic, or even if it's natural thyroid hormone like is in Armour, when you're importing thyroid hormone orally every day, your thyroid gland itself, it's a negative feedback loop. So the more thyroid hormone there is in the blood, the less thyroid hormone your thyroid pumps up, and over time the thyroid gland, even if it's healthy, in the presence of that much medication, will atrophy and then just be physically unable to bounce back. But look, I don't know where the thyroid's point of no return is. Your medical doctor certainly doesn't. My advice would be nutrify it. There's some specific things that you can do here which will really up the ante. And stick around at the very top. Can you stick around with me?
Absolutely. So I have a question on the ACL.
All right, good. So stick around. I'll bring you up in the top of the second hour. More to come, folks. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now.